Greetings, Spartans. Today we are going to learn how to make a Flash slideshow, and that slideshow is going to show your work from the Photoshop class as well as the Illustrator class. And you can see an example of one of those slideshows. So we're going to create something very similar to this. I've only added a few images, but I'll do a few more for this particular tutorial. Okay, I'm going to close this one up, and I'm going to go ahead and close this one up. I'm not going to save it. I'm going to open a brand new one, so you're going to do the same exact procedure that I'm going to show you. Our goal is to finish this during the block period, and then if you don't finish it, then you're going to be allowed to try to finish it on Thursday. Thursday is a minimum day, however, so let's get most of it done today during the block period. The minimum day is going to allow the teachers to set up for their room for open house, so that's why we're having that kind of a schedule. Anyway, here we go, Flash File 2.0. First thing you're going to want to do is save it. I'm going to save this as a first initial last name. I'm going to call this I'm going to call this slideshow. And since I'm doing this for 6th period, I'm going to say slideshow 6. I'm going to save this. And you're going to obviously put first initial last name underscore slideshow. This is a graded project, even if you aren't coming to open house. Of course, I hope you are. Okay. First thing we're going to do is going to minimize the window here, and you can see I already have my folder open. The very first thing you're going to want to do is go into your computer, locate your Photoshop files, and you're going to want to delete anything that is not an actual project. Okay? Now, there's no reason to hold on to those files. You're just creating problems for you because you're taking up valuable space that you will need to have for future use. Okay, so just delete all the practice files both in Photoshop and in Illustrator. I have created a new folder, and you should do the same, called Slideshow, and as you see, it's empty. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click on the 6th period graphic arts. This is your folder. This is where you send me your work, but I'm going to go ahead and just grab a few. And what I'm going to do is make sure I get a different one from each. I'm just sort of randomizing this. I'm not really looking at anybody's name. So if you happen to be one of those people, okay, that's good. As I was saying, if you happen to be one of these people, then I guess it's your lucky day. Alright, so I've got 6 Illustrator files, and you should probably have 6 also because these are the 6 projects. Now if you want to add any of your freestyles in there, you can do that as well. Now I'm going to go into Photoshop, and really important is that you don't have any megabytes. Okay, we're looking for kilobytes. You can see right here, if you highlight, you can see how big your file size is. If you have megabytes, it means that you have not flattened your image. Flattening your image is a good thing because it just means that it's going to help you create a movie clip, or rather a symbol, a lot easier. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and drag out another one, and so I'm just going to keep going here. Okay, almost done. I'm on the poster. Quick selection. Come over here. Alright, so I've got my objects. I got 15 objects, as you can see. Okay, I'm going to close my main folder up, and this is the one that is on my desktop, so I know where I'm going to be accessing. So now, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to call layer 1 images. Okay? So everything is going to go on this one layer, all the images that I'm importing. I'm going to add a new layer, call this buttons. Okay? Now I'm going to go ahead and add my buttons in here. And just to be real quick about this, I'm not going to worry too much about stylizing this. So I'm just going to make a square. I'm going to hold Option down. Let me just zoom in on this. So I held Option down and dragged an additional square, and then I'm going to make this a little bit thinner. This is going to be my pause button. I'm going to hold down Option and drag that one over. Hold down Shift to keep it online. Okay. And then, by the way, all the buttons are going to be on the same layer. And then I'm going to drag out Option and drag out this square, copy it, in other words. And this one's going to be the play button. So I'm going to bring this down, bring this up, and you know how to do this. We've done it before. Try that again. Okay. This is my play button. And let me just get a little bit skinnier. There we go. A little bit more. Okay. Now, I'm going to go ahead and make it a symbol. F8. Call it button. We'll just call this play. Say OK. F8. Pause. Say OK. And F8. Call this stop. All right. Say OK. So I've got 3 buttons. Now, we know to make up and down or up and over states. I'm not going to do that right now. I'm not concerned about that because I want to go quickly on this. Let me see. Let me get to 50%. Okay, those are good. What you want is a really manageable size. You don't want this to take a whole lot of space on your stage because your image is going to go above. Okay? Now, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to import to the library all of my images. And so I need to find that folder. The folder is actually on my desktop. It's called Slideshow. So I'm going to open that up. I'm going to Shift-click from top to bottom and click Open. Now, I'm going to get some dialog boxes, and the dialog boxes are going to be showing for Illustrator, more than likely just Illustrator, because I'm assuming my Photoshop layers are already the layers are already flattened. Now, if they're not flattened, it will come up and it will show me some things. Now, this is an Illustrator thing. I'm not going to worry about this because I'm going to come right down here and check Import as a single bitmap image, and I'm going to say OK. And it'll do that for all the other ones. So I'm just going to keep saying OK. Now I'm going to pause my video to save time, and I'll come back. Okay, here's one Photoshop that has imported because the layers were not merged. So I'm going to Shift-click all these, and then down here hit Merge Layer, and then say OK. And then here's another Illustrator. I'm going to pause the video again. Okay, we're back, and you can see everything is in the library. Now the nice thing is all of these images have been created as symbols. Okay, and so you can see those symbols. Symbol 4, 8. Now they're sort of all over the place, and that's okay. But you can see the symbol denoted by the circle, square, and triangle. So those are all graphic symbols. Now, of course, we also have the buttons in there, but those are already on the stage, and those aren't part of your slideshow. Now, I'm going to lock my button layer. I'm going to go to the image, the first open keyframe, and I'm just going to drag my first one up. And I have this B. Ralph's blend design, so I'm going to drag it over. And it's obviously too big, so here's how we're going to do this. In the Properties panel, I'm going to simply select that image and make everything 200 on the width. Now make sure this lock is locked, because I'm going to hit Enter, and that's going to cause my height to change proportionately. Okay, so what happened to my image? It's right there, no big deal. Now I'm not even going to touch this. I'm going to go to my lines palette. Control K will bring that up. We want to make sure this is selected to stage. You notice how it's not selected. Now I'm going to click it. You see how it's kind of indented. And I'm going to align here, click that, and then click this. So that aligns it both horizontally and vertically to center. And that will keep everything online. Now, I'm going to choose that first frame as a keyframe. I'm going to come down to 30 and keyframe that, F6. Okay, but here's what I'm going to do. First of all, I need to see those buttons, so I'm going to come up to the buttons frame and do F5. That brings it into view, of course. I'm going to go back to the image, that one keyframe on 30, and I'm going to come into my properties, and I'm going to click directly on the stage and choose color. Right now it says none, but I'm going to choose alpha. Alpha will lower that transparency. We want to bring it all the way down to 0, okay? Because what it's going to do, it's going to, after we choose motion tween, it's going to fade off, and so we can go to the next image, okay? Now I'm going to do a few more. I'm going to stop the video because we're almost out of time, and I'll come back and tell you what I. Actually, I'm not going to go away because the next step is important. So I'm going to go to the next frame now and do F7 and bring in my next image. So I'm just going to go find that symbol. It looks like this one is the next one. And then everything's the same. I'm going to go to my properties panel, okay, and change this width to 200. And I'm going to hit enter. You see the size is correct. And then I'm going to go to the align tool and center it. Remember these two images here. Center it horizontally, then center it vertically, or vice versa. Vertical and then horizontal. And align it right up. I'm going to do F5 so I can see my buttons, right? And there's my first keyframe. Now I'm going to go up to 60, and I'm not really concerned about the number. In fact, I might go up here because I think it's going to be a little bit better. And I'm going to do F6. I'm going to click on that, go to my properties, and change the alpha, or I'm just going to change it to alpha, and I think it's probably already going to have 0%, and it does. I'm going to go to my buttons and keyframe that, actually open the frame up. Don't keyframe it, just keep it an open frame. And then I'm going to right click on the images tween and choose motion, and there you see. Okay, so right now this is what we have. Someday it'll come. Here we go. Okay, so here's what we have. Okay, now the buttons are not active, and you're going to want to put action script on that. All of our images are going to do the same thing. Okay, now I'm going to pause the video because I only have like 2 minutes left, and I'm going to do the entire slideshow, and you'll see what's going on. Okay, I've put a few more images in my slideshow. I'm going to do one last one just because it's a little bit different in terms of its file size, file proportions. So I'm going to go to the next frame over and do F7 to open up a keyframe. I'm going to bring in the symbol, and this one is our poster, if you remember that, in the Obama style. Now it's a long poster, so normally I would have you change the width to 200. In this case, I want you to change the height to 200. So if you get one of those portrait formats, then that's what you're going to want to do. So I'm going to hit enter, and you see how it sizes up nicely. Then I'm going to go over to the align palette, and I'm going to center it to the stage as I showed you. Now I keep all of my palettes in the same docking area just to make it easier. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is give it a span. I'm going to do F6, and I'm going to lower the alpha on that. So I'm going to go over to my properties, click on it, and alpha 0. I'm going to create a motion tween. I'm going to go to the buttons, do F5 to bring it into view, and I'm going to be able to see that now. Okay, I'm almost out of time, so the last thing I'm going to do is color my stage because it's going to show up better. And let's preview it. Now I did put some action script on the button. As you can see, I can pause it, play it. You know how to do this on the action script, so I will show you briefly because I got about 15 seconds. So look right here. You can see on the play button, I've got on press, And there's my pause, and the video is going to stop. Good luck, everybody.